today is the start of a vlog. It is the start of the next episode of my 12 Witchy vlogs, which you guys may have noticed that in May I did not end up posting a vlog, but that is because I did not film enough and I ended up DNFing Black Candle Woman. Not saying the book was bad, I just was not feeling it and was kind of in a slump, and I didn't want to force read it to like hate it and do a shitty vlog. So that book is the first DNF of the 12 Witchy vlogs, and I'll find a way to punish myself. But we are starting the one for July. I had to figure out what month we were in, and if you did not see my TBR video in July, I pulled Once and Future Witches, so I'll be reading this. So Once and Future Witches is in 1893, there is no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild dark days before the burning began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If this modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it in the ballot box. But when the Eastwood sisters, James Juniper, Agnes, Armantha, and Beatrice Belladonna joined the suffragette of New Salem, they began to pursue the forgotten words in ways they might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces that will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bonds between them if they want to survive. There's no such thing as witches, but there will be. This book has been on my radar forever. It is like a top tier echelons of witchy books. So I had not read it yet, and I'm finally going to get to it. But yeah, this is just the start of the vlog. I am like not even 10 pages in, but I wanted to get this intro in. I am very excited to read it, and I will check in with y'all later. Hey guys, this is me updating on Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Haro, and I'm really enjoying this book. I am about almost the halfway point, and the book follows three sisters. It follows Agnes, Beatrix, and Juniper, and they are separated at the beginning of the novel by different circumstances, and it ends with Juniper. It starts with Juniper like fleeing into the city after an incident, and then the other two sisters who she hasn't seen, all haven't seen each other for 7 years, all end up at one spot, and at that spot is a suffragette meeting, or like a rally, and a tower appears about bringing back the old witching ways, and they try to bring it back, and they start their own group. It's really interesting. I'm really liking the writing style, and our characters are interesting. I like that each of the sisters kind of represents a mother, maiden, crone in it, and so we're going with that route, and I'm intrigued. They cut to short fairy tales like throughout the story as well, so I'm really enjoying that. This might be my second 5-star of these picks, so I'm really enjoying it, and we will see what happens next. 5% through into Once and Future Witches. I'm really enjoying this. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 5-star book. The way the witchcraft works in this book is really interesting, and the characters are fun. I'm really loving Agnes. I think it might be my favorite, but I also love Belle, and I love Juniper, so I'm very intrigued to see it end. I do like the way they have the familiars, and the villain is pretty, like, terrible, like, hateful, like, hateable, so I am very intrigued to see how this ends. There are points in the book where I think the story could end, but it just keeps going, and it's not bad. At no point am I feeling like it's taking too long. I feel like the pacing is really good. It's keeping me entertained. So I am very excited to get to the next book. And I do like what it shows about, like, POC in women's liberation, kind of, and the duality of that. So I won't talk more about that probably after when I finish my thoughts. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a little quick check-in. So I think it's time. I finished Once and Future Witches. It's actually probably been like a week since I was supposed to finish. Since I was supposed to have wrapped up this vlog. So quickly, I'm giving this book 5 stars. I will get more into it in a minute here in the next clip that you guys will see. But I did finish this. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 5 stars. And now let's get into the review. Alright. Okay, so this is the full review for Once and Future Witches. The end of the vlog. So I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed the book. I love the writing style. I thought that Alex E. Haro did a wonderful job of describing the world, and just the writing alone I thought was very easy to picture everything. I truly enjoyed that about it. I thought that, like, I could see scenes perfectly in my head with how it was described. It didn't feel overly flowery to me. I do like my writing, especially like on certain books, to be on the flowery end, but it didn't feel like overly flowery, like I've had some books be. So, one thing I liked, which kind of goes into that, is the world building. I really enjoyed that the way the world and the magic system worked and how they were able to get spells and the witchings worked. I thought the way that they also, that Alex Haro drove in fairy tales played a wonderful aspect to it, and that the, like, spells were able to survive this way. So one thing about the world building that I really enjoyed is that, so our book follows three sisters, Juniper, Aggie, and Beatrice, and each sister represented the maiden, mother, and crone, and I like that they each represented a different witch archetype. So where Juniper, who is our youngest sister, represents the maiden, she was the wild witch, the witch in the woods, the, like, fae child, and I really like that, while Aggie, who's the mother, is the, like, protective, the powerful warrior witch, and Beatrice was the crone, the knowledgeable, the, like, tomes with the grimoire witch. So I really liked the way that that was done. I thought it made a wonderful way into the world building, because these were archetypes, and I thought that, like, it was a good way to do the witchy archetypes, right? And so that you weren't playing into one witchy archetype, which I loved. And then one thing I also enjoyed, because this book tied heavily the witches to women's suffrages and women's rights, is that Alex Haro did touch upon how in real life the suffragette was very unfair to women of color, and especially like black women, and how the fights where should be equal and should be just as important weren't on this case, and our main characters, of course, were on the right side of things, but I did like how that was discussed upon. And then also there was like some other like queer things, and some trans characters that were worked, I thought, pretty well into it. So I enjoyed that. And then that also kind of leads into, I do like how this book tied the suffragette movement, the untreatment of BIPOC characters, and also workers' rights were all very entwined into it, into a way that, like, one issue is just not that, like, it's not just one issue, everything is connected. And I really enjoyed the way that was kind of tied into it as well. But overall, I'm going to give this book a 5 stars. I think this book is probably my top now of my witchy reads. So my ranking would be Once and Future Witches, Nettle and Bone, Set 'em Alone in Ruin, Uprooted, Night of the Witch, and then One for My Enemy. And then sadly, because I did not get to I DNF Black Candle Woman, that is at the bottom of the list, which it's not really on the bottom of the list, it's like in the side corner. But those are my overall thoughts. I'm very excited to. If you saw my TBR video, you will see that the next witchy pick will be Hex Wives, which will be our first comic, or first one of 2 comics picks. So I'm very excited and hope to see you there. If you've already read Once and Future Witches, what are your thoughts? If I've convinced you to read it, thank you. Write that down, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.